Hey, hope you're doing great. I'm doing a little happy hour surf check. It doesn't look super motivating to go out because the waves aren't very big, but we'll see what happens. You know, the hardest part of surfing, to me, in my opinion, is not even standing up on the surfboard. The hardest part of surfing is paddling out through the waves. When there are big waves, paddling out is exhausting. And it can start to feel like you may never make it. You may never get out. And honestly, I've had a surf session before. I've actually had one recently where I couldn't get out. It's actually kind of embarrassing as a surfer to suggest, but it was an intense day. If you saw the day, you wouldn't blame me. And it got me thinking about personal development and some of the things that I've really seen fail in personal development. There's kind of a dirty secret that isn't being told that I think is holding a lot of people back, and it's really sad. And it's personal development generally always fails. And it fails, in my opinion, because it doesn't address three different things that are a part of personal development. It doesn't actively address hate, it doesn't actively address anger, and it doesn't actively address grief. A lot of personal development is all about positivity and law of attraction and just think positive. It's not like that. Like when you actually grow, it's not like that. You can't grow if you're just trying to stay in a positive state of mind all the time. And this is where I freak out some coaches because they know that this is true and they don't really know how to handle it. First one, hate. The biggest thing that holds people back from their goals is that there is something about their goal that they hate and they haven't fully acknowledged and accepted the fact that they partially hate the thing that they want. It could be anything from making more money. You don't want to feel different than other people's. You don't want to make more money, or losing weight. You don't want to all of a sudden change your diet, and that changes your way you can relate to your friends and family. There's always something. You haven't achieved the goal. The thing is, you don't have to listen to another podcast or read another book or whatever. You have to address what it is that you're hating about your goal. You have to accept it and embrace it, and that will release you to allow you to hit that goal. And it becomes a constant distraction. Just like when you're paddling out into the ocean, a wave will come and hit you. And I keep seeing people get trapped in personal development because they think, oh, I'm having a hard time paddling out. I'm having a hard time hitting my goal. Waves are coming at me. Wow, if I listen to this next podcast, if I read this next book, if I scroll this next LinkedIn feed, maybe I'm going to see something that's going to motivate me. It's coming at it from a totally wrong angle. You don't actually need motivation for the most part. You need to accept the fact that you hate something about the thing that you want. That's number one. Once you accept and embrace that there are things you hate about the things that you want, it'll free you to start taking action toward that thing that you want. What'll come up next is anger, because as soon as you're released and you start realizing I can do this thing and I can hit my goals, it'll give you a sense of new boundaries and a new sense of yourself. As soon as you get a new sense of self, your immediate life right now is going to be in violation of your boundaries. If you grow as a person by accepting something about yourself and about life that just makes you grow into a bigger version of yourself, immediately that next moment, the life that you're in no longer fits who you are right now in this moment. And anytime your boundaries are being violated, the thing that you feel is anger. So the thing that you're going to feel after a growing experience immediately is going to be followed by anger and sometimes even rage. You're not going to read that in a personal development book. There's not a whole lot of money in telling people you're going to have to deal with hate, you're going to have to deal with anger, you're going to have to deal with grief. But once you accept the anger, just like once you can accept sometimes the ocean's intense, you can start to work with it. You can even start to ride it like a wave. But anger is a sign of growth. The distraction a lot of people feel is they have a personal breakthrough and they start to feel this anger because their boundaries are now violated. But that anger is an indication of growth. So they start to try to handle the anger. Oh, there's something wrong. I need to read another book because now I'm dealing with anger. No, the anger, you need to keep going. And then once you keep going, you realize, oh my gosh, I've wasted so much time. And that's where the grief comes in. You've got to process the grief of all the lost time, all the lost days, all the lost moments where you could have been growing, you could have been living a more powerful life and being a more expressed version of yourself. Hate, anger, and grief are critical to grow yourself as a person. And to really grow, it's not about personal development. What I'm talking about is something called positive disintegration, if you want to look it up. You need to positively disintegrate if you want to transform your life, not personally develop.